Hey everybody, Dr. Andrew Hall here from WellSpine, Kansas City. I am here today to talk to you about 5 simple and easy ways to help you combat low back pain. Now, we just had a really heavy snow over the weekend. It was heavy, it was wet snow, there was a lot of people out there shoveling, so they're kind of feeling symptoms in the low back, and I'm just going to give you a couple easy tips to help you deal with some of that stuff at home. So here's the first one. I'm a chiropractor. Duh, I'm going to tell you to come in and get adjusted. People who deal with chronic low back issues over time, it usually isn't just muscle. It usually just isn't, oh, I shoveled snow too much or maybe I had a hard workout. There can be misalignment issues that are going on in the spine that frankly you can't stretch out. So if this is an issue that has happened over and over and over again and it keeps coming back, you really need to get an excellent chiropractic exam. That's what we do here. And you need to take a look at your x-rays because here's a normal lumbar spine. We're looking at the person from behind. Level hips, spine should be straight up and down. That's normal. But when you are subluxated, when there's damage to the spine, it degenerates. You can see this is a 45-year-old woman, unlevel hips, curvature in the spine. You can't stretch that. And I'm going to give you some stretches to help deal with this, but stretching alone is not going to fix that. But the great news is this is something that's very correctable. This patient was dealing with a lot of low back issues, but this is after some care in our office. You can see the before and after. The hips are more level, curvature is changing as well, and she didn't have low back pain in this. So again, get a healthy spinal checkup. You want to see what's going on exactly. That's something that chiropractors are trained to do. So the other thing, spinal hygiene, this is the first thing that I'm going to tell you to do, or really the second thing, is we do what we call spinal warm-ups in our office, where we're taking the body through natural ranges of motion in order to get the muscles moving, in order to stimulate the nerves, and also just to get rid of some of that inflammation. We'll put a link to our warm-ups, our video warm-ups. I've given these exercises to everybody. I've stopped strangers in airports who look like they were hurting in the low back, and I've given these warm-ups to them. So this is something that I tell everyone to do, mainly in the morning, but you can do them throughout your day. It will help with some of those symptoms in the low back. Just go and look at one of the videos down below. It's the spinal warm-up exercises. Take care of that spine, because there's no such thing as a spinal transplant. Okay, plexus wheel. This is another question that I get a lot about, and this is something where I love foam rollers. I've used them for years. I also really like the plexus wheel because it's going to get right in between the mid-back, right in between the shoulder blades and the low back. And as you can see, this lady right here, she's rolling back and forth on it. It really, really helps with those tight paraspinal muscles through there. It's going to loosen things up. It is a really great way to help deal with those sore low back muscles, especially for you people who sit a lot at work. This is something that will really, really help you deal with this. So the plexus wheel is awesome. Foam rolling is great. This is something else that I would tell you to do. The cat-cow stretches. This is something that I do all the time. This is something after a hard workout that I work on as well, is to make sure to get those low back muscles right through here and just get them moving, because when you had an injury, they can tighten up a lot and it can really feel tight. So again, here's the cat pose, or here's the cow pose, here's the cat pose. You just work that back and forth nice and easy. You're on all fours. There's a ton of YouTube videos out there about the cat-cow stretches. This is something that I give to almost all of my patients when they're dealing with some kind of low back issue as well. And then finally, the figure four. And I really love this one because what it does is it stretches out the piriformis muscle, which is a deep gluteal muscle. Again, you just cross your leg over like this, and you push down on that knee, and it should feel kind of tight in that glute if you're dealing with that. And the thing is that your piriformis muscle sits right next to the sciatic nerve, and if that piriformis muscle flares up, it can cause that shooting pain down the leg. So what you just want to do is stretch it, and when you feel like you got a good range of motion, move to your elbow, and you'll stretch it even more, and that should feel really good. Then switch over to the other side as well. Another question that I get all the time is, should I use ice or should I use heat? And that is a really, really important question, so much so that I created another video just about that. Go and look at that, because again, it depends on what you've been dealing with and how long you've been dealing it for. So those easy tips should really help you deal with most of those things. Again, if this is a chronic issue, if you've been dealing with it for a long period of time, you need to get your spine checked, because back pain can also lead to a whole host of other issues. So this is Dr. Andrew Hall from WellSpine, Kansas City. Stay